Welcome back to the Fantasy Hockey Podcast. It is time for the weekend preview. I've been looking forward to this one because I have a lot to say on hockey news as of late. There's a lot of new developments. There's a lot of COVID to talk about. There's just a lot in general to go over as it comes to the NHL as of late. And in my head, I feel like because we skipped to 10 takes, there's just so many takes building in my head that I want to talk about. And so let's just jump right into it and take you into 10 takes. So my first one to start the week, by the way, Brandon is alive and he is here, unless you're watching the video and you know that, but he is on this episode. I know he didn't say anything yet. He's purposely probably now saying nothing so that I look like an idiot continuing.
I did say hello.
You did? Did you say hello?
Yeah.
I feel like we have a little bit of tension between us. I wanted to, before we start, I wanted to air that
I don't
out.
at all. I don't even know what
feel
we're
like-
talking about.
I feel like there's a little bit of tension here. People were mad or pleased by the dads fighting here. But I want to say that we're on the same page here. This is a team effort. It's okay that we disagree. But I'm ready to get mad at you this episode again. So let's start off with our first one. And there was a lot of talk this week about us apologizing for Tyson Barrie. I don't know if that's because it's Edmonton or if it was because they were really high-profile games. But we've never gotten so much apologized for this person right now. I think in the history of the podcast. I wanted to address it in the sense that, sure, Tyson Barrie's good, and we had said to drop him. He was on drop candidates. But I wanted to say a few things. One, we're not genies who see everything. That's not the point of this show and not the point of what we do with this. The point of this is, yeah, we look forward and we try to assume, okay, well, maybe this is where things are going to go. At the time, Tyson Barrie was a drop. He wasn't on the power play. He had 0% power play time and only like 16% the game before. With that info at that time, he is a drop. And so this is where it gets to, it kind of reminds me a little bit of stocks. Like an analyst can tell you this stock is a bad stock. But if you believe in the company and you think there's something there that people are missing, you probably shouldn't sell. And it's the same thing with a player, I think. Sure, you can listen to us, but at the end of the day, take what we say as advice and just as, hey, pay attention to these things. If this changes, maybe you should drop it, whatever. We're trying to point you in a proper direction, but there's still some legwork that you have to do on your side to make sure you make the right decision. If you just assume that we're always going to be right, it might work out for you. It also might not. I mean, if you listened to me about Bob last year, you probably didn't do so hot or any year. Yeah, you're right. You're right. See, tension. Any year, you probably didn't do so great. So I guess my point is here, take what we say always with a grain of salt. I do trust what we say, and I will stand behind what we say. But at the end of the day, there's still legwork that you have to do on your side to make sure that you're understanding why we're saying what we're saying, so that when you make those drops or you make those ads, you're doing it for the right reasons. It's kind of like people who are in points leagues that pick up people that we mentioned for cats leagues and then are like, wait, but he sucks. Why did what happened? I'm like, it's a points league. You shouldn't have picked him up. He wasn't good for your league. So that's my long rant on that. Sure, Tyson Barrie is good now. We were wrong on that, but we're going to be wrong on things. It happens.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. We're gonna make takes based on like the data we see. I try. Yeah. I mean, we try to, for the most part. There's a few, darlings that we have, of course, but we try to be pretty like agnostic to the player themselves, and just give you takes based on what we think, what we see in the data, and like in recent games and deployment and stuff like that. And I don't care if you drop Barrie.
No, and here's the thing. At the end of the day,
like what, you'll live, like whatever. Even though he had a couple of good games, I don't think he's going to be like a make or break guy at this point. So
yeah, and I think last season,
like we've seen, it's not like he's a lock on that top power play.
Yeah, no, and I think last year the best example of this was Nick Schmaltz, right? We kept saying Nick Schmaltz is just not going to be as good as he is. He kept producing. We were like, he's going to slow down, and he never did. And at the end of the day, were we wrong about it? Yes. Were we wrong to give that advice? Yeah. Were we wrong to give that advice, though, with the information at hand? I don't think so. His shooting percentage was insane. His on-ice shooting percentage was ridiculous. By all intents and purposes, with the info that we had, yeah, he should have come back down to earth. He just did it. And sometimes that happens. We got to roll with the punches.
Yep. All right. My next one, I feel like this is going to be on 10 takes like every single time we have a 10 takes, is that COVID is just ruining this season. Both like, I'm not just for like the NHL season itself, although you can easily point at all the problems they're going to have making all these reschedulements in any type of reasonable time frame. But ignoring all that, let's just assume everything is fine and dandy for the NHL itself. Fantasy is like, it's impossible. It's truly impossible. This year is more luck based than it's ever been by such a wide margin, just because you have no idea when some team's going to get totally wiped out. It feels like the only thing safe to do is take Canadian teams, because apparently they're immune. There's no virus in Canada, and you'll just be fine. But no American teams. That's my take. Trade all your players for players that are playing on Canadian teams, and you'll win the league.
It's funny.
And then trade back. Wait. Second plan, trade them all back for American teams in the playoffs when they have to play like 7 games in a row, night after night, right? That's the only way they're going to get the schedule in. So
it's almost as if the country that's taking COVID more seriously has less cases. It's weird how that works out, huh?
Yeah, I don't know how that would happen. It's very confusing.
How would that possibly happen? Yeah, COVID is annoying the hell out of me in the sense that I said this the other day, and I still think this. If the NHL were bigger, they'd be getting absolutely roasted for their handling of COVID so far, is my take. It reminds me a hell of a lot about MLB, and MLB got destroyed, and no one's saying anything about the NHL. The NHL is just getting off scot-free, and they're lucky for it, for one. They're very lucky that no one's given them a lot of trouble about it, but it sucks. And one thing that I'm worrying a lot about is if you think about the scheduling, it is already a very tight schedule. It is already very condensed, and they're running out of places to put games.
Yep.
My worry is that we're going to see a situation where games start to get put onto the end of the season. Yep. And if that happens, we're going to see playoffs get completely screwed. We're going to see people's schedules you're going to get screwed in so many ways if this just continues to happen. It's going to be the weirdest season in terms of, I don't know.
I do assume that they're going to, that they will, the rescheduled games will be like probably the week after. So I don't think, I would assume just by how many changes need to be made that it won't affect fantasy necessarily. It already has, right? But yeah. I don't necessarily think that like a lot of these rescheduled games will play during. Maybe they will. Maybe they'll just scatter them where they can. That's a possibility.
Yeah.
But I don't know that it'll actually be like this huge load on the last in like the championship week or something. But
that depends
we'll see.
on. I'm thinking past championship week because a lot of people don't do it
right.
last
I
week,
do think
right?
That's
and so
possible.
That's what I'm thinking. I'm not thinking championship week. I'm thinking games get moved past the championship week, and so then you're in this situation where you just get net less games played from people.
Yep.
And that just sucks.
That definitely is going to happen.
And that's going to happen. And it's absolutely brutal. And so now I'm thinking like, okay, what do you do in the playoffs now? Do you move them? Do you include that week? Can you adjust it? Like you can't really anymore.
No, you can't.
It's brutal.
You can probably technically, but you shouldn't.
You technically can, but you're in a little bit of a pickle there in doing it. And it's just all weird. I don't know. I'm so jaded by it all. It just sucks, honestly. And I feel like it's just going to get worse because that's the thing is at the beginning of the year, you thought, okay, you know what? They might have a few cases. They'll figure it out and it'll just kind of resolve itself, right? Like they'll figure it out. You won't have that many more scares like the MLB did. But it just keeps getting worse week after week, if we're honest. We just keep getting more and more cancellations. And it just seems like it continues to spread through teams. There's, Minnesota gets it. Colorado somehow still plays Minnesota. And then Colorado gets it. It's like, how are we not catching it on Minnesota earlier so that less teams are impacted? It's just really frustrating. Anyways, my next bit here, Bobrovsky and his contract, and even Price's contract, honestly, are goalies in the future screwed, contract-wise? Because
I don't even know that we're going to see the same types of contracts anymore, and that's probably correct. Like, I also don't think that goalies will be used in the same way that they've been thought about recently. I do think that like 1A, 1B style is probably the future. So the idea of paying a goalie a crazy figure for 8 years or whatever, or 7 years is not, I don't think that's going to be typical going forward.
Yeah. I mean, you can see Bob, who has this massive contract, who just gave up a 5-3 lead against Nashville in the third period. Well done, Bob.
Yeah, why not?
Congratulations. And I will say, watching the game, watching those goals against on Bob, a lot of them are his defense. I will say that in this game, at least against Nashville, a lot of them are on the defense, leaving him completely out to dry. But like you're saying, I think it's hard to be a GM now going forward and looking at a guy like Khudobin having such a great season and great playoffs, getting paid nothing, essentially. And then you have guys like Price and Bob eating up your cap and really not getting the same performances, even not even close, to be honest. You even had Columbus having good performances out of Korpisalo and Merzlikins last year. It's just, it's a tough situation. So yeah, I think the goalies going forward are pretty screwed in terms of contracts, and I do think the entire way we think about contracts for goaltenders is going to change.
Yeah, I think that's true. All right, my next one is about Ekblad getting moved off of the top power play. I saw a little bit of buzz about this. I don't know. I feel like there was very quick reactions, and my initial take was like, really though? And then sure enough, in this game, we're recording this on Thursday night. In this game, he has a power play goal off of Barkov and Huberdeau, so apparently that didn't stick. And even if it did, my take would have been, okay, he may not be like the amazing player that we hope for if he's not on power, and he will have a significant dip in power play points if he's not on power play 1. But the plan for Florida does not include Yandel at all. So I do think that at some point we will see him moved or something. But although I don't know I don't know if they can actually pull that off. But their internal plans are to promote Ekblad to that top power play. So it's in their best interest to continue to try that, considering it's been fairly effective. So I wouldn't make any rash decisions based on him moving up or down the power play for now, as annoying as it may be.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I'm still high on Ekblad for what it's worth. I understand some of the reasons why people might not be high on him, but I'm high on him. I think he's going to hold that spot. My next one here, Pastrnak. Lucky you all who got him late. I've seen a shocking amount of is this the real pasta sort of stuff, and I don't really get it. Yes, he's the real deal. If he's healthy, he's a top 10 pick. So I'm a little confused by why. I think people maybe people are new.
Their draft order is why.
Yeah, maybe draft order. They're like, oh well, I got this guy 3rd round, and he should have been like, and he's playing like a 1st overall. Like, what is happening? This is pasta. I mean, is he gonna score 2 goals a game every time? Absolutely not. Is he capable of it? Actually, yes. But that's not gonna happen. But he's capable of it. I wouldn't be moving pasta at all. You keep him. You probably got him 2nd, 3rd, 4th round. I got him end of the 4th round. If you're getting him around there,
possibly give you for him.
You can't possibly trade him for anything. Like, there's nothing. He's a top 10 pick in virtually every league. Like, what are you going to... Unless you're moving him for, like, McDavid or Dry. Yeah. Like, there's nothing that could have the ceiling of Pastrnak. And on top of that, Pastrnak is one of the best goal scorers in the league. That is so difficult to replace. Sure, you can replace points. Can you replace goal scorers like Pastrnak? And it gets you the points, too. So, just... Lucky you all got him at a discount. Enjoy it. I would not be selling. I honestly would pretty much not even listen unless it's like I've seen a lot of trades involving him recently. I would not be touching. If you want to go try to buy him, sure, I guess. If someone maybe is undervaluing him, but Pasta to me is a top 10 pick.
Yep, for sure.
And
I agree.
I will say, actually, if say everything were normal, right, and he were going in that top 10 range injured, I still would have taken him top 10. Honestly.
Yeah.
We talked about this in the preseason. If I knew he was going to be out 3 weeks only, I still would have taken him top 10.
Mm-hmm.
If all things considered.
I'm surprised I went up with no shares of him. I blame because I'm mostly in listener leagues and everybody just knew. But the fact that he was going in third round was so silly.
Yeah. It's nuts.
All right. My next bit here is Line and Bjorkstrand. So we've got a game or two under our belts. We have a shifting of lines. And, okay, the first thing we see is Bjorkstrand is on a third line and second power play.
And lighten it up.
Yeah, there's a lot to take in with that. And the first thing to do is probably panic. And then calm down for a second and look what happens in the game. You're like, all right,
scream.
This is only really a problem if he loses his time on ice. And then you look at this most recent game after he got moved to that third line, 13 and a half minutes. I'm starting to get worried. He got 2 points in the game, but he did play power play 2, and he did get 13 minutes, and he does have Riley Nash as his center. I am concerned. I am not thrilled with this.
You know,
I mean, he got 2 points, so obviously I'll extend the leash. But I'm if he doesn't skate more than 13 minutes in the next game, I am starting to freak out. I think.
Of all the things I expected to happen out of this Line A trade, that might have been the last one.
Yeah, I don't know why you just like shunt your other good scorer, but
it's just weird. It makes no sense.
Max Domi 17 minutes, 18 minutes.
Weird.
Cam Atkinson gets 18 minutes. Standard stuff.
Usual
18
stuff.
minutes.
Yeah, totally.
Maybe it did something to make Torts mad. We'll just have to wait.
Who knows? I don't know. I'm still holding on. I mean, I got him so late that it doesn't matter really. I mean, I'd rather drop him than trade him for too little and then his ceiling be realized later when if he gets more minutes. That's kind of my take with him.
I don't know. If he continues to not get minutes, I wouldn't feel too bad dropping him.
Yeah, that's fair. So, my next point here, all this talk about the Edmonton power play, we've had a lot of talk about that. And yet, you know who's been the best? Let me ask you, who's the best power play in the league by percentage right now?
Dallas.
No.
I don't even know who my second guess would be. Dallas again. Oh, the Kings.
No. Oh,
really?
Okay. Now you're messing with me.
No, I'm not. Look at the Kings. The Kings have been incredible on the power play.
So here's your top 5. And what's crazy about this is that it's actually what I expected if I had really thought about it and not just gotten like these people. To me, I'm used to them being good, and so I didn't even think about it. But Toronto, 43.3% on the power play right now. That's not counting tonight's game. Washington, 40.9%. Not counting tonight's game. Then there's Dallas at 40.6% with 7 games. Toronto and Washington is crazier because they have 10 games played. Those are more wild. And then you've got Edmonton with 27.3%. They're not 5th, but that's just what their percentage is. What's crazy is that they're 27.3%, but they are 5th in overall power play goals for. So it's just kind of an interesting little tidbit of, we keep talking about this power play in Edmonton being so good, but I feel like we're kind of sleeping on this Toronto power play and this Washington power play that's just been so effective. And the craziest thing about the Washington one being a 40.9 is that Ovi was out for so long.
Yeah.
And there's still
we are looking at small sample sizes here, of course. Sure. I actually don't love that Toronto's still doing a split power play, but
yeah.
I mean, I guess it's working. I don't know.
It seems to be working, which is kind of wild. So take it.
I guess.
Oh, nice. Bob just let in the 6th goal of the game to lose it. 6-5. The Bob special.
Well,
I'm glad I dropped him. I am so glad I dropped him.
I gotta hate him. All right, my next one is, speaking of power plays, St. Louis has been absolutely awful on the power play.
Yeah.
Awful. 12.5%. And they signed a power play goal specialist. I don't understand. I don't understand.
Same.
Like even Florida, who was babbling about how, you Yandel's not part of our future and this and that and blah, blah, blah. They still swallowed their pride when they decided they're going to play Yandel and they put him on the top power play, and he's doing great like he always does. So why? I don't understand. Like, even if you don't like him at even strength, play him on the fourth line, play him top power play, whatever. I just don't. What are you doing? Like, why do you not try this at this point? It's been enough times, right? How many times do we need to see a Blues power play just fail and watch one of the better power play goal scorers just sit there doing nothing? It's infuriating. This is coming from somebody who's not has very little interest. I don't have like a whole lot of Hoffman shares anymore. I already dropped them. I don't have any Krug shares. I'm just baffled. That's all.
Here's my tinfoil hat theory on this.
Oh boy.
Watching it. Okay, here we go. I just put on my hat. So I think potentially St. Louis got Hoffman on a 1-year contract as kind of insurance for Tarasenko, just in case things didn't work out. He was behind and they needed a power play guy. Granted, they're not playing him on the power play. Things just haven't worked out, right? Low risk, though. And there's less risk because now they can trade him. So I think that's what's going to happen.
They're ruining his value, though. Like, what?
Well, yeah, but to them, it's like, whatever. Sure, they ruin his value, but someone's going to want him. Someone's going to want Hoffman, especially if they're willing to eat a little bit of the salary. He's at $4 million. Like, that's nothing. Trade him to a contender that doesn't matter to St. Louis. They get some assets back. They lose absolutely nothing in having signed Mike Hoffman. They took a gamble. It's a 1-year thing. Someone's going to want that contract and want Hoffman on their team. That's my
infuriating.
Take. Very infuriating.
Even if they were doing that, I don't understand why they wouldn't play him top power play. Like, what difference does it make? But
I agree with that too.
I'm incensed. Anyway,
I can tell. You are beating your back.
Yeah, right.
My last one here is just a little tidbit. I know we have a lot of Vancouver fans out there, so let me just quickly say that Vancouver sucks. That's it. That's the take. Vancouver's terrible. They are so bad. They've got a few good things going, and that's it. They've got a good power play. They've got Quinn Hughes. They've got JT Miller, that dude that kind of plays like Konechny.
Quinn Hughes is horrific on defense, though, including everybody
terrible.
else on the team, basically. So there's that.
I mean, defensively, it is one of the worst teams I've seen in a long time defensively. I mean, if you're betting out there, just take the over in every Vancouver game because the odds of them getting shelled are higher than Ottawa at this point. It's just brutal. They have no defense to speak of. It's insane. And it's kind of surprising because their defense isn't that bad. And if you look at it, it's not good, but it's not bad. You got Jordy Ben, Alex Edler, Quinn Hughes, and Tyler Myers. And, I mean, Hughes is playing no minutes recently. He's playing mostly power play.
Pretty bad.
Jordy Ben played 13 minutes. I don't even know why I mentioned him. Nate Schmidt's not terrible.
He's okay.
He's okay in real life. Not great fantasy.
He's the only one.
I mean, it's just, wow. They are bad. They are very, very bad. They've got promising pieces, though, I guess.
Sure.
But it's just, oof. There's not much a goaltender can do against 37 shots. And then on top of that, none of the goaltenders are really looking all that great. Demko has a good game here or there, but yeah, Vancouver is very bad. I'm glad I have Hughes and Miller, though. They're the only two things working over there.
Yeah. Well, Pettersson's been doing better lately, at least. But all right. My next one and last one here is there's actually a sneaky player in Detroit, of all things.
Is there?
This is kind of Mike Riley, except a little bit more exciting in that he is 0% owned. But Christian Djoos has been playing top power play and has an assist and has decent shot totals coming into the last few games. He's played top power play last 3 games in a row. And he doesn't get a ton of minutes, so there's that. But he's another one of those guys that, if you are really looking at the waiver wire and there's just nothing, he's a top power play defenseman, and that kind of is enough, I think, in leagues that deep, especially points leagues that you're just struggling to find anything. This is not necessarily somebody I would pick up immediately, but he just popped out on my radar when I saw him get a point off of 3 shots, or power play point off of and 3 shots in the last game that Detroit played. So something to pay attention to, and especially in extremely deep leagues, but not much beyond that probably.
Man, the wire is getting so hard with all these postponements.
It's impossible.
It is. So
I don't know how
difficult.
many. Like I added Severson at the beginning of the week, and then added Dvorak. It's like, okay, I'm gonna get 1 game out of him now. It's like trying to min max your games is a total crapshoot.
It's insane. I'm tired
I
of it.
guess on the other hand, wait a minute. Here's a tinfoil hat theory for you.
Oh boy.
What if I don't even know how to say this with a straight face, but McKinnon's out, and then right, McKinnon's hurt, and then Colorado gets COVID.
Are you suggesting that McKinnon had COVID and COVID
No,
injured his upper body?
I'm suggesting like we don't want to play without McKinnon, so we'll just go hug Minnesota players until Landeskog gets it, and then
I like this
we'll
one.
just postpone our games until McKinnon's healthy.
You know what I like about it the best is the fact that we can't prove or disprove that one.
Yeah,
That
never
one
know.
is a real
Gotta assume it's
tinfoil
true.
hat. So it's got to be true. My sources indicate that Colorado players after the game went to the Minnesota locker room, hugged Wild players to not play after they found out that McKinnon might be out for a bit. And coincidentally, they are going to not play for about as long, probably, as McKinnon is out.
Yeah,
So,
right.
There it is. There's your
That's
tinfoil hat
That's
theory.
what
for
happened,
today.
everybody.
It is. That's
Heard it here first.
Heard it from here first. I mean, look, Adrian Dater sucks. You obviously don't get good info from him. So you can come to us for Colorado Avalanche news. We're cutting edge here. Okay, let's move into pickup suggestions for the weekend. I have a few if they don't all get suspended or postponed sometime soon. My first one is Carter Verhaeghe. Didn't have a great game tonight, but Vancouver does have, Florida has 2 off nights, and he's kind of a really low-owned guy who has upside in terms of points. And I do like Florida's schedule going into the weekend, so he's one of my top ones.
Yeah, my top one is nope, he's dead.
Oh,
It was going to be JT Compher, but the news about the postponements came up after I wrote this down. So,
there you go.
however, he would have been good considering he's somehow 4% owned despite playing top line, top power play in the one game he got to replace McKinnon. He didn't do anything, but he played 20 minutes, and he played with Landeskog and Rantanen the whole time. So, well, crap. That would have been a good one.
Well, there goes that.
There goes that. I hate this.
COVID's affecting our scripts in real time.
Yeah, it literally is. It's awful.
It really is. Okay, I'll just go to my next one then. Alex Iafallo is the Kings. I mean, this is how bad this weekend is, folks. I'm suggesting Kings at this point. Although I do like Iafallo, actually. Lots of minutes. Of all the Kings, he's probably the one I like the most. Dustin Brown, too. But it depends on your league. For points specifically, I like Iafallo more. And he's shooting a little bit more, too, this season, which I like.
Yeah. My next one, my first one, I guess.
And they're healthy, right? Sure, they're not postponed.
Yeah.
Okay.
James Reimer.
Yeah.
56% owned on a good Carolina team. I mean, I don't know. It's not like the goalies in Carolina have ever been their strong suit, but I do think that Carolina is a good enough team that they can bail out just about anybody at this point.
He's getting wrecked tonight.
Yeah, whatever. I mean, it's fine. He was good in his last game.
Yeah.
But the thing is that he is. I don't think the Joker is ready to really back up. Their third stringer, Nedeljkovic. I can't say his name for some reason.
It's just like Djokovic. But
Yeah, Nedeljkovic.
so then
I can't do the end of it.
Nedeljkovic.
Nedeljkovic. It was the accent, right?
There you
Or
go.
the emphasis. Nedeljkovic,
How can I
right?
pronounce that name but not pronounce Lafreniere or like those French names? How that makes no
I don't know.
sense. Why do
Nedeljkovic,
mouths work the way they work? It's weird. I don't get it.
Anyway,
Weird, like anyways.
I don't think he's ready, basically. And he's kind of
He might not
shown
even
that
be-
so far. So I do think that Reimer's going to get the bulk of starts. And Mrazek is out indefinitely now. after getting surgery on his thumb. So I do think that we're going to see a lot of Reinemer starts behind, like I said already, a good Carolina team.
Yeah, I mean, Nedeljkovic honestly hasn't even showed he's ready for the NHL in general, so he's definitely not ready to back up yet. Even though I do think he could pick it back up, he's still young.
I just traded for him in Dynasty, so I hope you're right.
Never mind. I'm not even asking why. Okay, next person
piece.
here.
I made the guy throw in an extra piece because I don't know, just to be
because
rude,
he could,
I guess. Yeah,
pigeonholed him.
Ekblad return was not enough for Aubé-Kubel.
Yes,
I traded Aubé-Kubel. Wait, let me look this trade up real quick. I traded Aubé-Kubel and I don't know, some idiot.
Brandon loves
Aubé-Kubel and Ben Sherratt for Aaron Ekblad in a dynasty league and Nedeljkovic.
In a dynasty.
I'm pretty happy about getting Ekblad.
He just ate his lunch. That's pretty much it. Anyways, my first one.
Sorry if you listen to this. God, hopefully Aubé-Kubel is better than I think he is. I didn't see you going after him. But
narrator, he wasn't. Alec Martinez is my next one from Vegas. He was really good before all the games got postponed. Was actually getting points too, but good blocks option. Was shooting too. So I like Alec Martinez on the defense side. Vegas has 2 off nights. He's pretty lowly owned and available, and most likely he was dropped because of the postponements in a lot of leagues. And so he is someone to target if you need a defenseman as a result of just so many open spots now this weekend.
Yeah. My next one is, or my last one actually, is not even for this weekend. It's just because I looked ahead, and this is one of the weeks where, well, rather next week is a week where there's hardly any team that you can target for off nights. There's only one team that has 3 off nights, and the on nights, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, are super, super heavy next week. So benches are going to be trouble. Being able to stream in somebody that doesn't play on the on nights is super beneficial. And the player that sticks out the most to me from the team that has the 3 off nights, which is the Rangers, is Pavel Buchnevich.
Yep.
Right wing, 26%. Had a goal tonight. He may have done more than that, actually. I'm not even sure what the rest of his stat line looked like. But just the goal. But he is top line, top power play still. He's putting up decent shot numbers. And, I mean, he's overall like one of those players that I feel like if anytime I need to stream somebody and the Rangers look good, he's kind of in my back pocket as like, all right, I can grab him for now and hold on to him until I get tired of him or he, goes 3 games without getting a point or something.
Especially in points leagues. I like him even more than a Cats league in particular. And that's it. I don't have anybody else. So that is your 10 takes and your weekend pickup suggestions. We hope you enjoyed it. We're very excited to do the week preview next week. It's going to be a wild week. Like Brandon said, a lot of really heavy days. There'll also be a sit-start Saturday. So tune in for that before the big old football game on Sunday, which, fine. I'm actually more excited for Liverpool Man City, but don't tell my company that focuses on NFL that. Brandon's actually my boss, so he doesn't care. Anyways, let's.
I don't care about the Super Bowl either.
He doesn't care about the Super Bowl either. There you go. So, anyways, thank you for watching or listening. We'll catch you next time.
Yep. Thanks for listening.